Adam Hayes stared out the viewport of the USS Horizon as the massive alien ship approached. His heart raced, but his face remained calm. As the chief linguist for the United Nations Space Command, he had trained for this moment his entire career. First contact with an advanced alien civilization. The day humanity would no longer be alone in the universe. Ready for the biggest translation job of your life, Hayes? Captain LeVar Bennett asked, coming to stand beside him. Adam nodded, his eyes never leaving the approaching vessel. As ready as I'll ever be, Captain. The alien ship was beautiful, a spiraling structure of what looked like liquid metal and light, at least 3 times the size of the Horizon. After months of signal exchanges and basic language development, the aliens calling themselves the Galactic Concord had agreed to this face-to-face meeting in neutral space. Remember, Captain Bennett said quietly, this isn't just about translation. We need cultural insights, behavioral analysis, anything that helps us understand them. I understand, Captain, Adam replied, clutching his tablet. On it was every scrap of linguistic data they had gathered so far, a rudimentary translation matrix built from the mathematical patterns the Concord had shared. 6 hours later, Adam sat in the Horizon's conference room, facing the alien representatives. For the first time, there were 4 different species present, each more alien than the last. The apparent leader was a tall, slender being with iridescent skin that shifted colors as it spoke. It called itself Ambassador Zeleth of the Mavorians. We welcome humans to greater galactic community, the translation device between them rendered in slightly awkward English. Concord spans 7 species, 300 worlds. Long have we watched your development. Captain Bennett smiled diplomatically. We're honored to meet you, Ambassador. Humanity has dreamed of this moment for centuries. As the formal introductions continued, Adam focused intensely on the translation device the aliens had provided. Something wasn't quite right. The syntax errors seemed inconsistent, almost as if I may, Adam interrupted, drawing surprised looks from both human and alien delegations. I notice your translation matrix is struggling with our linguistic structures. Perhaps I could help optimize it? Ambassador Zeleth's skin rippled with blue patterns. Most observant. Yes, please assist. Over the next few days, Adam worked closely with the Concord's language specialists. The aliens were remarkably open to sharing their technology, explaining that cultural exchange was a founding principle of their alliance. They spoke of trade opportunities, technological sharing, and eventual human membership in their Concord. It all seemed perfect. Too perfect. On the 3rd night, while reviewing translation data in his quarters, Adam noticed something unusual. When processing multiple alien languages simultaneously, the translation device created tiny processing echo shadows of communications not meant to be translated. Most people would never notice them, but pattern recognition was Adam's specialty. He worked through the night, modifying his personal tablet with elements of the alien translation software. By morning, he had created a backdoor into their communication systems. It was probably illegal, definitely unethical, but curiosity drove him forward. The opportunity to test his creation came during the formal welcome banquet. 7 days into the diplomatic mission, the Concord had invited the entire human delegation to their vessel. The alien ship was even more impressive from the inside, vast chambers with architecture that seemed to defy gravity and views of space. That made the Horizon's viewports look like portholes. During the meal, Adam excused himself, claiming to need the human-adapted restroom the aliens had thoughtfully provided. Instead, he found a quiet alcove and activated his modified tablet. Instantly, alien text began streaming across his screen. He held his breath as the translation formed. Primary assessment continues. The humans show concerning development patterns. Agreed. Their technological growth curve exceeds safety parameters by 23%, and their historical records such violence among their own kind. The Council will require our full report before classification. Their weapons capabilities are primitive, but their adaptive potential is troubling. Adam's blood ran cold. This wasn't the friendly banter of new allies. This was an assessment. A military assessment, he quickly made his way back to the banquet, his mind racing. Across the room, Ambassador Zealot was smiling, if that expression could be called a smile, at Captain Bennett. The captain was laughing at something the alien had said. They don't know, Adam thought. None of them know. For the remainder of the evening, Adam maintained his professional demeanor while his modified tablet, hidden in his formal uniform pocket, continued recording alien communications. Later, safe in his quarters aboard the Horizon, he reviewed everything. The Galactic Concorde was not what it seemed. References to containment protocols, threat assessment, and evolutionary hazards painted a disturbing picture. The friendly diplomatic mission was a cover for something else. The aliens were evaluating whether humanity was too dangerous to allow into the galactic community over the next 2 weeks. As diplomatic talks progressed and humanity celebrated this new era of interstellar relations, Adam continued his secret surveillance. He learned that the Concorde operated on a principle of stability above all else. Species deemed too aggressive, too expansionist, or too unpredictable were managed for the greater good of galactic peace. Adam was assigned as the permanent linguistics liaison, giving him unprecedented access to Concorde communications. As humanity prepared to sign the first official treaty with the Alien Alliance, his tablet captured a transmission that made his hands shake. Security Council session scheduled. Classification vote for humanity in 3 standard cycles. Preliminary. SSESSMENT suggests Category 4 evolutionary hazard. The human capacity for violence exceeds safety thresholds. Containment recommendations will follow standard protocols. The humans suspect nothing. Adam stared at his tablet in horror. In 3 days, while smiling and signing treaties, the Concorde would be voting on whether to consider humanity a threat that needed to be eliminated. And he was the only human who knew. He looked out his viewport at Earth, a blue jewel against the blackness of space. Billions of lives unaware that advanced aliens were calmly discussing their fate. The weight of that knowledge pressed down on him like a physical force. What could one linguist do against an alliance of species centuries ahead of humanity technologically? But if he did nothing, he would be complicit in whatever containment protocols the Concorde had planned. Adam took a deep breath and began copying the evidence. Whatever happened next, humanity deserved a warning, deserved a chance to fight back. He had never imagined his language skills would make him Earth's first, and possibly last, line of defense against alien threat. But sometimes the most powerful weapon wasn't a gun or a bomb. Sometimes it was simply listening when no one thought. You could hear. For the next 3 months, Adam Hayes lived a double life. During the day, he was the friendly, dedicated linguist, helping build bridges between humanity and the Galactic Concorde. At night, he was a spy, secretly documenting the aliens' true plans for Earth. His position as Chief Human-Alien Linguistics Liaison gave him perfect cover. He attended every major meeting, installed translation systems in all diplomatic areas, and had access to communication hubs that no other human was. Cleared to enter. All the while, his modified tablet silently gathered information that chilled him to the bone. The humans reproduce and spread at concerning rates, one Taraki military analyst reported in a secure transmission. Their historical territory disputes suggest they will not remain confined to their solar system once they gain faster-than-light capabilities. Most troubling is their psychological profile, a Vrel scientist added. They form emotional attachments to abstract concepts like freedom and independence that override logical self-preservation instincts. Adam watched the Concorde's assessment of humanity grow darker with each passing week. The aliens were particularly disturbed by Earth's military history. They regularly sacrifice millions of their own kind in conflicts over resources and ideologies, noted a Mavorian cultural expert. What might they do to non-human life forms they consider threats? Late one night, Adam discovered a classified historical database. What he found stunned him. The Concorde had encountered 17 other spacefaring species before humans. 7 were current members. 3 were classified as protected developmental species, Under Concord supervision, the other 7 were listed as contained threats or neutralized evolutionary hazards. Adam dug deeper, breaking through layers of security with his growing knowledge of Concord systems. The 7 missing species had been eliminated, some through engineered natural disasters, others through targeted technological failures, a few through direct military action disguised as terrorist attacks from within, all because the Concord had judged them too dangerous to exist among the stars. Adam barely slept anymore. Dark circles formed under his eyes. His colleagues noticed his change in behavior. "You look exhausted," Commander Samantha Wells, his direct superior, said one morning. "Are you pushing yourself too hard with the translation work?" Adam forced a smile. "Just dedicated to getting it right?" "The cultural nuances are complicated." He couldn't tell her the truth. Not without evidence she would believe. Not without revealing he had been spying on humanity's new allies using modified alien tech, a clear violation of the preliminary agreements Earth had signed, but he needed to do something. The Concord Security Council had scheduled their final classification vote on humanity in just 2 weeks. Adam began carefully leaking small pieces of intelligence to Commander Wells, disguised as cultural insights. The Concord species place exceptional value on predictability, he told her during their weekly briefing. They're disturbed by our historical capacity to endure suffering during conflicts. That's an interesting observation, Wells replied, making a note. And they seem particularly concerned with our rate of technological advancement, Adam continued. In their culture, new technologies are typically tested for centuries before widespread adoption. Over several days, Adam fed Commander Wells more information, always framing it as cultural analysis rather than intelligence from unauthorized surveillance. He watched her expression grow more thoughtful, more concerned. With each conversation, 1 week before the Concord's vote, Adam received new access codes as part of his official duties. The aliens had requested his help with translation systems for their upcoming Cultural Exchange Summit. In reality, Adam knew this was their cover for the classification vote on humanity's fate. He now faced a critical decision. His position gave him the opportunity to access the live feed of the Concord's vote. But if he was caught, he would not only face punishment from Earth authorities but also confirm the Concord's suspicions about humanity's untrustworthy nature. The risk was necessary. Someone needed to witness humanity's trial. On the day of the vote, Adam volunteered to troubleshoot translation difficulties in the Concord's communication systems. The aliens, still believing him to be nothing more than a helpful linguist, granted him access to their technical areas. "I may need several hours," Adam told his Mavorian supervisor. "Human language processing is causing unexpected feedback in your quantum relays." The alien's skin flickered with patterns that Adam now recognized as skepticism, but it granted permission. "Complete your work before the summit begins." Once alone, Adam connected his tablet to the Concord's secure network and found a maintenance terminal hidden from regular traffic. Heart pounding, he accessed the feed to the Concord's High Council chamber. 7 alien representatives sat in a circular arrangement. Ambassador Zeleth was there, skin now pulsing with formal patterns of deep purple and gold. The other 6 representatives, one from each Concord species, looked equally ceremonial in their various biological ways. Adam activated his translation program as the High Arbiter began speaking. "We gathered to determine classification of species. Designate human. Evidence has been presented over 3 standard cycles. Military assessment, cultural analysis, and evolutionary projections are complete. The Security Council will now hear final arguments before voting." The Vrel representative rose first, its crystalline body catching the light. "Humans display all markers of aggressive expansion patterns seen in previous evolutionary hazards. Their history is defined by conquest. Their literature glorifies conflict. Their resources are depleted because they value growth over sustainability. I recommend immediate containment." The debate continued for hours. Adam recorded everything, his hands shaking as he heard 7 advanced species calmly discuss whether His entire species deserved to live freely or be contained. The Tauraki military representative was the most direct. Humans are developing weapons capabilities at 16 times the safe rate. Their psychological testing reveals disturbing adaptability under pressure. They cannot be trusted with interstellar capabilities. Only one representative, a gaseous entity from a species called the Loxarii, offered a moderate view. Humans show concerning patterns but also remarkable creativity. Perhaps probationary status would be more appropriate than immediate containment. It wasn't enough. The High Arbiter called for the vote on the matter of species designate human classification status. Those in favor of designating humans as Class 4 evolutionary hazard requiring containment and eventual reduction. 1. By 1, the representatives signaled their agreement. The vote was unanimous. Humanity was officially deemed too dangerous to allow free development. Containment protocols will commence within one standard cycle, the High Arbiter announced. Diplomatic facades will be maintained until infrastructure targets are neutralized. Begin with their orbital shipyards, then communication networks. Adam closed his eyes. The weight of 7 billion lived suddenly on his shoulders. The Concorde was planning to cripple Earth while pretending to be friends. And only he knew it was coming. He carefully disconnected his tablet, erased evidence of his presence, and left the maintenance area. His mind was racing. He had days, perhaps. Only hours to warn Earth before the Concorde's containment began, but who would believe him? And how could he expose the truth without revealing his illegal surveillance? He needed a plan, and he needed it fast. Adam paced his small quarters aboard the USS Horizon, his mind racing. The countdown to humanity's containment had begun. The Concorde would maintain their friendly facade while secretly preparing to cripple Earth's infrastructure. He had to warn someone with authority, but his evidence came from illegal surveillance. If he revealed his methods, he could face charges of espionage against humanity's new allies. After hours of internal debate, Adam decided to approach the one person he trusted who might have the skills to help Nathan Rivera. The Horizon's encryption specialist. Adam found Nathan in the ship's mess hall, alone at a corner table with his meal and a tablet. "I need to talk to you," Adam said quietly, sliding into the seat across from his friend. "Somewhere private. It's important." Nathan studied Adam's face. "You look terrible. How long since you've slept?" "That doesn't matter right now. Please, Nathan." 20 minutes later, they were in Nathan's workshop, a small room filled with communication equipment where he tested security protocols. Adam knew it was one of the few places on the ship without constant monitoring. "This better be good," Nathan said, crossing his arms. "You're acting strange, even for a linguist." Adam took a deep breath and connected his tablet to Nathan's system. "What I'm about to show you is classified. Not by our people, but by the Concorde. I've been accessing their secure communications for months." Nathan's eyes widened. "You did? What? That violates at least 6 sections of the preliminary agreements." "I know, but I discovered something." Adam pulled up the recorded feed of the Concorde's vote. "They're not here for peaceful relations. They're assessing whether we're too dangerous to exist." For the next hour, Adam showed Nathan everything: the Concorde security assessments, their history of containing other species, and finally, the unanimous vote classifying humanity as an evolutionary hazard. Nathan's face grew paler with each revelation. "This is ... If this is real ... It's real," Adam insisted. "And they're planning to start their containment operations within days. First the shipyards, then global communications." Nathan ran his hands through his hair. "Even if I believe you, and I'm not saying we can't just walk up to Captain Bennett with illegally obtained alien intelligence. We'd be detained, and the evidence would be buried while diplomats argue about protocol. That's why I need your help," Adam said. "We need to get this information to Earth's Unified Defense Council without revealing how we got it." Nathan thought for a moment. "I might have a way. The weekly data packet to Earth goes out tomorrow. I could embed the evidence in an encrypted file that would only be visible to Defense Council systems. Would it be traceable back to us?" "Not If I do it right, Nathan said, already beginning to work. But Adam, this is serious. If you're wrong about this, I'm not wrong, Adam said firmly. I've watched them discuss our destruction while smiling to our faces. Everything depends on getting this warning to Earth. They worked through the night, carefully packaging the most damning evidence. Nathan created a complex encryption that would make the data appear as routine system diagnostics to anyone except the specific Defense Council security systems programmed to recognize certain patterns. There, Nathan said finally, his eyes red from exhaustion. It's done. When the data packet goes out at 0800, this will be hidden inside. It should reach the Defense Council within hours. Adam nodded gratefully. Thank you. I know what I've asked you to risk. Just hope we're not committing career suicide, Nathan muttered. Or worse, causing an interspecies incident over a translation. Error. It's not a translation error, Adam said softly. I wish it was. The next day, Adam tried to maintain his normal routine while his stomach twisted with anxiety. He attended a scheduled meeting with Ambassador Zeleth to discuss the upcoming cultural exchange events that would bring more Concord representatives to Earth. We are most pleased with progress, the ambassador said, its skin rippling with what Adam now recognized as smugness rather than friendliness. Soon our peoples will be much closer. Yes, Adam thought grimly, close enough for you to strike. That afternoon, Commander Wells summoned Adam to her office. His heart pounded as he entered, certain that his unauthorized transmission had been discovered. Hayes, she said, her expression unreadable. You've been spending a lot of time with the Concord representatives. Adam tried to keep his voice steady. Yes, Commander. My liaison duties require. I've been reviewing your cultural insights, she interrupted. Your recent report suggests caution in our dealings with the Concord. I'm just being thorough, Adam said carefully. Wells leaned forward. Are you aware of something I should know, Lieutenant Hayes? For a moment, Adam considered telling her. Everything. But the evidence was already on its way to Earth. If he confessed now, it might complicate the response. Only that cultural differences can lead to misunderstandings, he replied. I believe we should proceed carefully with any technology. Transfers until we better understand their values. Wells studied him for a long moment. Very well. Continue your work, but I want daily reports from now on. As Adam left her office, he wondered if she suspected something. It didn't matter now. The warning was on its way. 2 days later, Adam was awakened in the middle of the night by security personnel at his door. Lieutenant Hayes, you're to come with us immediately, said a stern-faced officer. They escorted him to the ship's secure conference room. Inside waited Captain Bennett, Commander Wells, and 2 security officers. Their expressions were grave. Lieutenant Adam Hayes, Captain Bennett said formally. You are detained pending investigation of unauthorized access to alien communication, systems and transmission of classified material without permission. Adam's blood ran cold. Captain, I can explain. Save it for the formal inquiry, she interrupted. Your actions have potentially compromised our entire diplomatic mission. The Concord isn't what they seem, Adam said desperately. They've classified us as a threat? They're planning to attack our infrastructure while pretending to be allies. Captain Bennett's expression didn't change. These are serious accusations, Lieutenant. Do you have evidence? It's been sent to the Defense Council, Adam admitted. I couldn't risk going through normal channels. There wasn't time, Commander Wells stepped forward. Who helped you transmit this alleged evidence? Adam thought of Nathan. His friend would face the same charges if Adam revealed his involvement. No one. I acted alone. I find that hard too. Believe, Wells said. Before Adam could respond, a communications officer burst into the room. Captain, urgent message from Earth Command, Priority Alpha. Captain Bennett took the tablet, her eyes widening as she read. After a moment, she looked up at Adam with a completely different expression. It seems, Lieutenant Hayes, that the Defense Council takes your warning very seriously. They're implementing emergency protocols across all Earth installations, and they want you on the next shuttle back to Earth. Adam felt lightheaded with relief. They believe me? Apparently they've had their own suspicions about the Concorde, Commander Wells said. Your evidence confirmed what some analysts already feared. What happens now? Adam asked. Captain Bennett's face was grim. Now, Lieutenant, we prepare for the possibility that our first contact with alien life may not end as peacefully as we hoped, and you're going to tell us everything you know? For the first time in months, Adam felt the crushing weight lift slightly from his shoulders. Earth was warned. Humanity would not be caught completely by surprise. Whether that would be? Enough against the Concorde's advanced technology remained to be seen, but at least now they had a chance. The shuttle ride back to Earth was the longest 6 hours of Adam's life. He sat in the passenger compartment, flanked by 2 silent security officers. They weren't there to guard him anymore, they were his protection detail. Earth's defense. Council now considered him a vital intelligence asset. Adam stared out the viewport at the blue planet growing larger. Somewhere on that world, military and political leaders were reviewing his evidence and making plans. Meanwhile, the Concorde representatives still believed their deception was working perfectly. When the shuttle docked at the orbital station, Adam was immediately escorted to a waiting transport. No customs checks, no regular procedures. The officers hurried him through empty corridors to a small, unmarked vessel. Special transport to Defense Headquarters, one officer explained curtly. Direct orders from General Hudson herself. 3 hours later, Adam found himself in an underground facility he hadn't known existed. The walls were thick concrete, and he guessed they were deep beneath the Defense Council's public headquarters in Geneva. A stern-faced aide led him to a conference room, where 12 people waited around a large table. Adam recognized some of them from news reports, the highest-ranking military and intelligence officials on the planet. At the head of the table sat General Katherine Hudson, Earth's highest-ranking military officer. Her silver hair was cut short, and her eyes were sharp as they fixed on Adam. "Lieutenant Hayes," she said, "please sit down." Adam took the empty chair, feeling small and out of place among these powerful people. "Your information has been thoroughly reviewed," General Hudson continued. "We've confirmed enough of it through our own intelligence sources to consider it credible." "You your own sources?" Adam asked, surprised. A thin man with glasses nodded. "We've had concerns about the Concorde from the beginning. Their stories seemed too perfect, their technology too conveniently shared, but we lacked concrete evidence of hostile intent. Until now," another official added. General Hudson leaned forward. "Lieutenant Hayes, I need you to understand something. What you did, illegal surveillance of a diplomatic partner, was a serious breach of protocol." Adam swallowed hard. "I understand, General. In normal circumstances, you would face court martial," she continued. Then her expression softened slightly. "But these are not normal circumstances. Your actions, while unauthorized, may have saved billions of lives." Relief washed over Adam. "What happens now?" "The Concorde is planning to begin their containment any day." "We're already taking countermeasures," said a woman in an admiral's uniform. "Quietly evacuating key facilities, implementing communication redundancies, placing our forces on disguised alert status." "The Concorde can't know we've been warned," General Hudson explained. "That advantage is our best hope. We need to appear normal while preparing for whatever they plan to do." "They'll target our shipyards first," Adam said. "Then global communications networks. They want to isolate us and prevent space expansion." The officials exchanged glances. "That matches our analysis of the evidence you provided," the thin man with glasses confirmed. "We've already begun evacuating the Singapore orbital shipyards under the guise of a radiation leak." Adam spent the next several hours briefing the Defense Council on everything he had learned about the Concorde, their military capabilities, psychological assessments of humans, decision-making processes, and the details of their containment protocols. "There's one more thing you should know," Adam said toward the end. "The Concorde believes humans are predictable. They think we'll panic when isolated. Their containment strategy depends on us following expected behavioral patterns." General Hudson smiled for the first time. "Then we'll have to disappoint them, won't we?" Over the next 3 days, Adam worked with Earth's military planners. They developed responses that would surprise the Concord, not just reactive defenses, but unexpected counter-strategies, all while maintaining the illusion that humanity still believed in the peaceful alliance. On the fourth day, alarms blared. Throughout the facility, Adam was rushed to the command center where General Hudson and her staff watched a wall of screens. "It's begun," she said grimly. "A meteorite just struck near the Singapore Orbital Shipyard's launch facility." Adam felt his heart pound. "Casualties?" "None," the Admiral replied with a hint of satisfaction. "The facility was completely evacuated 12 hours ago. We left equipment shells and holographic projections to maintain the appearance of normal operations." On the screens, Adam watched smoke rise from what should have been Earth's largest shipbuilding facility. But instead of the expected devastation, the damage was limited to empty buildings and decoy equipment. "They'll realize something is wrong," Adam said. General Hudson nodded. "We're counting on it." "Their next target should be global communications," Adam finished. "Probably starting with the Pacific undersea cables." Exactly 9 hours later, the Concorde made their second move. A series of underwater earthquakes struck along the Pacific Ocean floor, directly along the paths of major communication cables. But when the cables should have gone dark, they remained operational. Earth's engineers had quietly installed backup systems and rerouting capabilities in the weeks since Adam's warning. On the sixth day, Adam was summoned to a secure communication room. General Hudson was waiting, along with several other officials. "The Concord ambassadors have requested an emergency meeting with Earth's leadership," she explained. "They're claiming concern about the unfortunate natural disasters affecting our infrastructure." "They're confused," Adam said. "Their intelligence said we'd be crippled by now." "Exactly. And we're going to use that confusion." General Hudson handed Adam a tablet. "You're going to be part of our response team." "Me?" Adam was shocked. "But I'm just a linguist. And the Concorde knows my face. If they see me with you, they'll realize I warned you." "That's precisely why you need to be there," the thin man with glasses said. "Your presence will send a message that we know exactly what they're doing." Adam stared at the briefing document on the tablet. "This is ... this is bold." General Hudson's expression was stone. "Lieutenant Hayes, the Concorde decided our species was too dangerous to exist freely among the stars. They'd planned to cripple us while pretending to be our friends. Bold is the minimum appropriate response." 2 days later, Adam stood in Earth's Grand United Nations Hall beside General Hudson and 5 other military and political leaders. Across from them, Ambassador Zeleth and the other Concorde representatives entered with their usual dignified movements. The ambassador's skin flickered with colors, Adam now recognized as confusion and concern. "We are troubled by recent events affecting human infrastructure," Zeleth began. "These unfortunate occurrences—" "You mean your attacks?" General Hudson interrupted calmly. The room went silent. The ambassador's skin froze in a pattern of shock. "We do not understand this accusation," Zeleth said carefully. General Hudson smiled coldly. "I believe we understand each other perfectly, Ambassador. Or should I say, High Executor of Containment Protocol 7? The alien's color patterns shifted rapidly, first denial, then alarm, then a grudging recognition, its eyes fixed on Adam. "The translator, you have broken trust between our peoples." "No," Adam replied, finding his voice. "You broke trust when you classified us as an evolutionary hazard to be contained. When you voted to cripple our world while smiling in our faces." For the first time since he had known them, Adam saw something new in the aliens' behavior and certainty. The Concorde representatives looked at each other, their confident superiority replaced by confusion. They had never expected their targets to know. They were being hunted until it was too late to respond. The game had changed. Humanity now had a chance, slim perhaps against the Concorde's advanced technology, but a chance nonetheless. And it had started with one linguist who had listened when no one was supposed to hear. Ambassador Zeleth's skin had turned a deep, unsettling purple that Adam had never seen before. The other Concord representatives showed similar signs of distress in their various biological ways. The meeting hall remained silent for several long moments. "You were not meant to know," Zeleth finally said. "That was your first mistake," General Hudson replied. "Your second was underestimating us." The ambassador's eyes narrowed. "This changes nothing. The Concord has contained 17 evolutionary hazards before yours. Your premature awareness is merely an inconvenience." Adam stepped forward. "You classified us as dangerous because we adapt quickly and fight for what we believe in. Did it ever occur to you that those same traits might be valuable? That they might even be necessary for survival in this galaxy?" "Your species glorifies conflict," a Vrel representative objected, its crystalline form pulsing with light. "Your history is written in blood," yes, Adam acknowledged. "We've made terrible mistakes. We've fought wars that should never have happened, but we've also learned from those mistakes. We're still learning." General Hudson placed a hand on Adam's shoulder, then addressed the aliens directly. "The Concord has two options now. You can continue your containment attempts against a prepared opponent, or you can reconsider your classification of humanity." The Concord representatives conferred among themselves, using communication frequencies that Adam's tablet could now detect but not decode. He watched their body language instead, reading the signs of conflict and disagreement among them. Finally, Zeleth turned back to the humans. "The Security Council must be consulted. This situation is unprecedented. You have 24 hours, General Hudson said firmly. During that time, any suspicious activities near Earth installations will be considered hostile acts and responded to accordingly." As the Concord representatives left, Adam felt a mixture of hope and dread. The immediate danger might be delayed, but the fundamental problem remained. A powerful alliance of alien species had decided humanity was too dangerous to exist freely. Will they really reconsider, or are they just buying time? Adam asked General Hudson as they walked back to the secure command center. "Almost certainly buying time," she replied. "But so are we. Every day gives us more opportunity to prepare and learn from their technology." Over the next 24 hours, Earth's military forces remained on high alert. Adam worked with intelligence analysts, providing insights into Concord psychology and decision-making patterns. "They value consensus," he explained to a roomful of strategic planners, "but they also respect strength. The fact that we anticipated and countered their first moves has forced them to reevaluate. Can we exploit that?" asked the colonel. Adam nodded. "I think we need to show them two things: that we're stronger than they thought, and that we're not what they think we are." As the deadline approached, reports came in from across the solar system. Concord ships were moving into new positions. Some approached Mars, others took up station near the asteroid belt. "They're preparing for a more direct approach," General Hudson observed grimly. When the Concord representatives returned to the United Nations Hall, Adam immediately noticed a change. Ambassador Zeleth was accompanied by a new figure, a tall, luminous being that seemed to shift between solid and gaseous form. "The High Arbiter," Adam whispered to General Hudson. "The head of their Security Council." The High Arbiter addressed the human delegation directly. "Your species has surprised us." "This is rare in our experience." "We're full of surprises, General." Hudson replied evenly. "So we have observed?" The alien's voice was melodious yet unsettling. "Our containment assessment was based on extensive study of your history, culture, and behavior patterns. Yet we failed to predict your actions when threatened." Adam saw an opening. "Perhaps that suggests your assessment was flawed in other ways as well." The High Arbiter turned its attention to Adam, the listener who was not meant to hear. "Your actions have altered the course of events between our civilizations." "I did what anyone would do to protect their home," Adam replied. "No," the alien said. "Many species we have studied would have attempted personal gain from such knowledge. Others would have caused panic. You chose a path of organized resistance. Without widespread fear, this ... interests us." General Hudson stepped forward. "What is your decision?" "The Concord has modified its position," the High Arbiter announced. Humanity will be reclassified as a probationary species with supervised development rights. Adam felt his heart sink. That was still containment, just with a nicer name. General Hudson apparently felt the same way. Unacceptable. Earth does not recognize the Concord's authority to classify us at all. The alien representative showed signs of surprise. This level of defiance was clearly unexpected. You do not understand your position, Ambassador Zeleth said. The Concord's technology far exceeds yours. Even prepared, you cannot hope to let me explain our position, General Hudson interrupted. She nodded to an aide, who activated a large display screen. The screen showed images from across the solar system, dozens of locations where Concord ships had taken position. Then it zoomed in on something small attached to each ship. While you were evaluating us, General Hudson explained, we were learning about you. Those devices attached to your vessels are what we call deadman switches. If your ships take hostile action, the devices will detonate. The Concord representatives stared at the images in disbelief. Impossible, Zeleth said. Our sensors would have detected. Your sensors are calibrated to detect known weapons, Adam interjected. Just as your psychological profiles were calibrated to detect expected behavior patterns. In both cases, you missed what you weren't looking for. The High Arbiter studied the humans with new intensity. You would risk mutual destruction rather than accept containment? We would risk everything for our freedom, General Hudson answered. But we don't want destruction. We want something better, Adam stepped forward again. The Concord fears species like ours because we're unpredictable, because we fight instead of surrender, but those same traits make us valuable allies. For the first time, Adam saw genuine consideration in the alien's shifting form. What do you propose? The High Arbiter asked. A true alliance, General Hudson said. Not the false one you offered before. We join the Concord as equals, not as a contained threat or a supervised species. And if we refuse, then we continue as we are, separate, suspicious, and at the brink of conflict. A conflict where the outcome is uncertain for both sides. The High Arbiter was silent for a long moment. You offer alliance with a weapon at our throat? You came to our world with containment plans hidden behind a smile, Adam countered. Which approach shows more honor? Another long silence filled the room. Finally, the High Arbiter spoke. The Concord must reevaluate its understanding of humanity. You have demonstrated qualities we did not anticipate. Is that a yes? General Hudson pressed. It is a beginning, the alien replied. A true beginning, without deception. As the formal negotiations began, Adam found himself watching from the sidelines. The linguist who had uncovered the plot was no longer needed now that both sides were speaking openly. General Hudson found him later as he stood at a window, looking out at the city lights. You should be proud, she said. Without you, none of this would have been possible. Adam shook his head. I just listened when I wasn't supposed to. Sometimes that's all it takes to change history. She handed him a tablet. The President has approved your new assignment. Special advisor to the human delegation to the Concord. Adam took the tablet, surprised. They're actually going through with the alliance? It will take time, Hudson replied. Trust is in short supply on both sides. But yes, they've accepted our terms. The Concord is expanding to include its 8th member species. As Adam looked back at the city, he thought about how close humanity had come to a very different fate. One small discovery, one illegal translation, program had altered the course of human history. The stars would not be forbidden to humanity after all. And perhaps in time the Concord would learn that the very traits they feared in humans' adaptability, determination, the willingness to fight for survival were exactly what the galaxy needed. Sometimes the most dangerous species were also the most valuable allies. All it had taken was one human, listening when no one thought he could hear, to make them see it.